Hello Forest Box kids, Miss Katie here. This week we are studying minerals and gems. So what we have is a fun gem to draw, full of line and geometric shapes, but it should be really fun. Let's go over our basic elements of design to start. We have line, shape, form, value, space, color, and texture. We definitely have line and shape today. We are creating some form with our values, which are lights and darks. We definitely have color. We don't have space or texture, but we are going to have a lot of fun today. Okay, this is what we are going to be drawing. We are going to do it step by step. It's going to be very, very simple. We are going to start with a circle, and we're going to use a clock face as a reference for us to get our starting points in. And then we're going to pick any color that we want. I chose green. You can pick any colored pencil you want, and we are going to only use 3 values, a light, medium, and dark, to color all of this in. So without any further ado, let's get started. I'm going to move this off to the side and get a blank sheet of paper. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to just draw a large circle, okay? And nothing has to be perfect in this picture. So just draw your best circle and it's going to turn out just fine. Okay. And we want to use a light hand because we will be doing some erasing. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, here's where we're going to use a clock face for reference. We are going to be drawing 12 dots around this circle, just as if we had the different hours of the clock. But to break it up and start simple, we're going to start with a dot on the top and a dot straight down. So now we have 2. And then we're going to do the same thing but across, right in the middle across, and then on the other side. So now we have 4. Between each of these sections, we're going to evenly space 2 dots. And we're just going to eyeball it. So there are 2. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And believe it or not, these are 12, just like we have on a clock face. So our next step is we're actually going to erase the circle. And so we only have our dots remaining. Go ahead and erase the curved line, because I don't know if you noticed in your gem book that you received this week, there are not many curved lines on gems. Usually they are very geometric with straight edges. Okay, so now I have my 12 dots. I'm going to draw and just eyeball it, a straight line between every dot. And we're going to create a 12-sided polygon. So I don't know if you've ever heard of a pentagon or an octagon, excuse me. This one is called a dodecagon. So a polygon with 12 sides is a dodecagon. All right, so, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my paper to help me draw these straight lines. Okay, so here we are. Now, this part we are going to draw several lines of the same size, but they're always going to be pointing towards the middle, okay? If you want to help, you can draw a very light dot in the middle, something that you can erase. But we're going to draw a line towards the middle about that size. And then we're going to go across, okay? Now, we've got these 2 opposite. We're going to move over 2 dots. So we've got this one, skip a dot, go to this one. And we're going to draw the same size line, and we're going to go opposite 2 so that these 2 are facing each other. Okay? Try to make sure they're the same size. And then now we're going to skip a dot again. Skip this one and go to this one. and we're going to go directly across. And so now every other dot has a line facing the center, okay? Now, from these lines, we're going to draw from the end of the line to the next dot that is along the edge of this dodecagon. So it's going to go in and out. And we're going to do that all around. We're going to that dot. Oh no, a broken pencil. Let's see if I have a replacement. I do, yay. All right. Okay, now before we move forward, we're going to add some extra lines. Where we have a straight line, we're going to do 2 lines on either side. So it makes almost its own little triangle. And I'm going to go around, and every time I have this straight line, I'm going to do 2 lines on either side, making a smaller triangle. There are so many shapes that we are creating here. So many fun different things that we're going to get to color in. So let's go all the way around. And wherever we have that straight line, where it came to a point, we are going to draw 2 lines on either side, creating a small triangle within the other triangles. Okay, so we have this. All right, our next step is we are going to start at the very top, this point here, and we're going to skip this point and go to this one and draw a straight line point to point. That one is not super straight. Let me redo it. I'm going to turn it so that I'm facing directly towards my body. That helps me. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to skip a point again, and we're going to go to this one. Okay, and then we're going to connect these 2 lines that we started with. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is the same thing, but we're going to go from these points that we have not touched yet, and we're going to create another triangle. So I'm going to connect these 2, and then these 2, and then these 2. And this is what it looks like now. Okay, so before we move forward, we're going to add in some different things around the edges here. In every one of these big diamonds, we're going to draw a cross, okay? We're going to go from top to bottom and side to side, okay? And then we're going to do that here. And I'm just going to go all the way around. Okay, very nice. All right, our next step that I want to do is we're going to, these larger triangles just sitting here around, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've gone from a dodecagon to a hexagon. From 12 sides, now we have a polygon with only 6. So we've cut them in half through all of these lines. On every side of this hexagon is a triangle sticking up. We're going to divide it in half, okay? Another edge of this hexagon, divide the triangle in half. This big triangle, dividing it in half. And then one last one, there should be 6. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna erase this little line protruding out. That's not stopping at the edge, and I'm gonna erase the dot in the middle. All right, so now all we have left is, you'll notice there is a line leading into every corner and every angle of this hexagon. I'm going to continue it on a little bit farther, and I'm going to bring it in about the same size line from every corner of this hexagon, okay? And then I'm going to connect them together to create one more smaller hexagon, excuse me. And here we are. This is the end of our drawing, okay? This is the end of sketching out everything, and now we go to coloring in. So what I want you to do now is I want you to decide what color you want your gem or emerald or amethyst, crystal, whatever color you would like this to be. I have a dark green, so I'm going to use that. Pick your color, hit pause if you need to take some time to decide, and then come back and we'll move forward. What I want you to do with your color now is I want you to create this value scale here. So you're going to draw a rectangle, just a rough rectangle, and you're going to draw 2 lines into it, which divides it into 3, okay? And I'm going to actually outline this quite dark to make sure you can see it. Okay. Now I want you to take a very light hand. A lot of times you have to pull your hand back on your pencil so you're not pushing too hard. And I want you to color it in with a light shading all the way through. A nice even coat, as if we were painting, okay? Now I want you to focus on these bottom 2, and we're gonna give it another coat, just in these bottom 2 squares. And what we're doing is we're creating different values of this color now, okay? We definitely can see a difference between the top and the bottom. This is your light, this is your medium. Now we're only going to focus on this bottom square, and we're going to use a pretty heavy hand and color it in really nice and dark. So now we can see very clearly we have 3 shades, okay? A 1, a 2, and a 3. And the 1 is the lightest, 2 is medium, 3 is dark. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to go step by step to create this exact shading. But what I want to do is I want you, if you've done and you've drawn this and you're very proud of it, this is a big feat. It's a great thing to have done. And if you from this point on want to color however you want, alternating your values however you like, even maybe coming in with different colors, you are released to color in all of these different shapes however you like. Or if you want to copy me exactly, you can copy me exactly. Or if you like mine somewhat, you can copy mine somewhat and then make some changes. But you are free to make this gem or crystal or emerald any way you like, colored in however you like. And I am just going to continue on in this way. So it'll look like this when I am done. Okay, so I'm going to start and I'm going to color over this whole thing with that light tone, because everything on this is going to have some color. At the very least, it's going to have this first shade. So I'm going to shade everything in the really light color, and now I'm pulling my hand back on my pencil, and I'm just going to color over the whole thing. When I get to the edges, I like to go parallel to the edges so that I don't end up coloring off or out of my lines and off of my gem. And I'm just trying to even it out. If I see places where it seemed lighter than the others, I'm going to go back over them so it looks kind of like a nice even coat all the way through. And believe it or not, we are almost done. Coloring in these little shapes is not too difficult, but it has such a big impact because of how many different shapes we have in this one object. It is really fun. Okay, before I get too dark, I think that's a really nice even light shade. Okay, so now we are going to go in with our number 2 shade. Okay, so I am going to take 3 different edges around this center hexagon, and I'm going to make them the medium number 2 shade. Remember, I'm not pushing too hard. This is not the darkest shade, it is the medium value. And already things are like popping off the page. It is beautiful to see. Okay. All right, next. Let me clean these up. Okay, we're gonna go in on, and on the left side, on the edge, I'm gonna color this one in the same medium shade. And I'm gonna pick one point, and then on this one, on every one, I'm gonna go across and take one edge of this triangle. It's the left side. I'm left-handed, so it's always the left side. I'm repeating a pattern, and it's gonna be that medium shade. I'm not pushing too hard. Okay, we've got those done. Okay, what I want to do now to help us get some context, it'll be easier for us to find the pieces if we go straight to our dark one from this point out. And we are going to start at the edges and work our way in, okay? So what we're gonna do is that I want you to remember this little triangle that we created at the very beginning, and we're gonna color this in really dark along with the triangle on the left side of it. So it's a group of 3. And we are gonna color in really dark. This is our number 3 shade. So this should look different than this one. Okay? So now I'm gonna go to my next group of 3. Here's this little triangle that we created. And then we have the one to the left. I'm gonna shade all of these in very dark. Okay, you can see, should be able to see 3 clear shades. You've got a light, a medium, and a dark. All right, let's go to this next one. We've got, find that triangle that we made, and then the one to the left. And we're gonna color all of them in really dark. And how did I decide how I wanted to color this in? I just played around with it. And I decided something that I liked and thought looked really nice. So if you like it another way, this is not the only way. Please feel free to vary it and change it as you like. All right, again, I'm going to a point and I'm finding that little triangle and the one to the left of it. And it's a group of 3. All right. And the last one. A lot of repetition in this one, which kind of makes it easy on the brain. Once you catch on, you just do the same thing over and over. Okay, so now we are going to find, between each of these groups, there are 3 triangles, 1, 2, 3. The middle one is going to be very dark, the same. We're going to color this middle one in, the value number 3. The darkest one. And we're going to go between every group, 1, 2, 3, and shade the middle one in as dark as we can with a heavy hand. 1, 2, 3, middle one. One, two, 3. And I am pushing. Luckily, these are tiny shapes, so our hand might be growing very tired. 1, 2, 3. One, two, 3. This one in the middle. Okay, we are moving along. Okay, so now we are going to go along the outside, this entire frame, And these are all going to move, these that are value number 1. We want to move them to the value number 2. So, like do you see this large hexagon going around? Everything on the outside is going to be that value number 2. So we're going to go ahead and darken it. Now you can see it's darker than the value number 1. And so I'm going to move all the way around. We're making a value number 2 here. And we're almost done. All right. Should be very easy to see, and I'm going to even these out so I don't see brush strokes here. All right, we are almost done. So now what we're going to do is I want you to notice these triangles sitting on the edge of this hexagon, okay? Right here, where there's only one side that is shaded at a value 2. Now the other side of this triangle, we are going to bring it to a dark value 3 now. I'm going to go around to every triangle. Pushing with a pencil. If you need to take a break and stop and sharpen your pencil, please do so. Mine is wearing thin. It is still working for me though. All right. Now, we are going to shade this one right next to these triangles. We have a number 2, a medium, a dark, and we're going to make this a medium. And we're going to go to every triangle. Here's the triangle. We have a medium, a dark, and we're going to make this one a medium. We have a medium, a dark, make this medium. Medium, dark, make this medium. A medium, a dark, make this medium. A medium, a dark, and make this medium. We are almost done. Okay, here we are. Our last step is we are going to color these 3. These are, man, the name is escaping me. I will think of it in a second. These shapes. I want to say a tetrazoid, but I think that's the wrong name for it. Anyways, so we are going to shade these 3 in the darkest value, a number 3. And then these. And we are done. All right. I hope you guys love your gem. Please feel free to email me a picture at katieprawl@havenforestschool.com. I would love to see what color you made it, what pattern you made, and if you followed mine or you came up with your own. I hope you guys have a wonderful week studying minerals and gems, and I look forward to having you again next time. Bye.